Fiancé cheats on me with friend that introduced us. There's a special kind of pain that comes when the two people you trust most in this world team up to destroy you. My best friend since childhood introduced me to the woman I thought I'd spend my life with. 4 years later, they sent me a photo that shattered everything I believed about love, loyalty, and friendship. But what happened next changed me in ways I never expected. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved, if you've ever felt that crushing weight of trust being ripped away from you, hit that like button right now. Subscribe, because this story isn't just about betrayal. It's about what happens when you have to rebuild yourself from nothing. Let's get into it. I still remember the exact moment Sam told me about her. We were planning our annual trip to EDC, the music festival we'd gone to every year since college, and he mentioned he wanted to bring one more person. I assumed he'd finally found himself a girlfriend. Sam was that guy, the perpetual bachelor who always seemed content being single while the rest of us paired off. But he waved me off with this knowing smile and said something that would haunt me for years. "Nah, man, I think you're really gonna like her. I think you two would really hit it off." Then he winked. Actually winked at me like he was doing me this huge favor. Her name was Shay, 29 years old, gorgeous in that effortless way that makes you nervous, funny without trying too hard, and somehow into all the same obscure music and movies I loved. When Sam introduced us, a few weeks before the trip, I felt that rare, immediate pull. Not just physical attraction, but something deeper. The kind of connection where you can already picture her introducing to your mother. But here's the thing that should have been my first warning. She didn't seem interested in me at all. Not even a little. She was friendly, sure, but there was this wall up, this distance that I couldn't quite explain. The festival came and went, we all had an amazing time, but Shay remained cordial, nothing more. I figured Sam had read the situation wrong, that maybe she was just not into me. It happens. But then something shifted. Over the next few months, Shay started reaching out. Coffee here, dinner there. She introduced me to her friend circle, integrated me into her life in ways that felt natural and genuine. After about a year of this slow-burn friendship, I was falling hard. I just didn't know if she felt the same way.
She hated when I teased her about it, would playfully swat at me and insist she didn't snore, but we both knew the truth. I proposed during Thanksgiving dinner with both our families present. When she said yes, when I saw the tears streaming down her face and felt her hands trembling in mine, I experienced a level of joy I didn't know was possible. Pure, uncomplicated happiness. I rode that high for an entire year, planning our wedding, imagining our future kids, picking out paint colors for the nursery we'd eventually need. Life felt perfect in a way that should have scared me. Then, Sam announced in our group chat that he was single. His girlfriend of several years had broken up with him. I felt genuinely terrible for him. Here was the guy who'd introduced me to my soulmate, who'd always looked out for me, and life was throwing him curveballs. It felt cosmically unfair. When we started planning our annual EDC trip, Sam mentioned he wanted to get his own place this time instead of our usual shared Airbnb. He said he wanted the freedom to leave if he wasn't feeling it or to have privacy if he met someone. It made perfect sense. I didn't think twice about it. The moment Shay saw Sam at the festival, everything changed. It was like watching someone flip a switch. Suddenly, she barely looked at me. She hovered around Sam constantly, laughing at his jokes with this intensity I hadn't seen since before we started dating. She treated me the way she had during that first year we knew each other. Friendly, but distant, like I was just some guy in her orbit instead of her fiancé. I kept telling myself I was imagining things, that she was just trying to comfort a friend going through a breakup. But my gut knew something was catastrophically wrong. The first night of the festival, I realized both of them had disappeared, just gone. I called Shay's phone, and she sent me to voicemail. In 3 years together, she had never once sent me to voicemail. Not when she was in important meetings, not when she was sleeping, never. Panic started creeping up my spine like ice water. I asked around, but none of our friends knew where she'd gone. 5 minutes later, I got a text. "Sorry, babe, couldn't answer the phone. Emergency with my mom, had to leave." Every rational part of my brain shut down. I went straight into protective boyfriend mode. I texted back immediately, offering to leave the festival and fly with her to be there for her family. She said there was no need, that she was already on the way, that Sam was driving her. Looking back now, the lies are so obvious, they're almost insulting. But in that moment, I had the woman who couldn't fall asleep without me on FaceTime, and my childhood best friend tag-teaming me with reassurances. Everything is fine. This is normal.
Don't worry. Then the group chat exploded. Someone had posted a photo. I opened it, and my entire world collapsed into a single image. Shay and Sam kissing. Not a peck on the cheek, not a friendly goodbye, a real kiss, passionate and familiar, the kind of kiss that told a story. The caption read, "You were right. Old flames don't die." The chat immediately erupted with people trying to delete it, spamming "wrong chat" and "delete this" hundreds of times. Her friends were in full damage control mode, but I'd already seen it. I'd already screenshot it. Everyone in the house went silent and turned to look at me. My mind was doing this desperate, pathetic scramble to make it make sense. Someone hacked her account. It's a camera filter. It's photoshopped. I literally zoomed in on the fingers in the photo looking for signs of AI manipulation because accepting reality felt impossible. Shay called minutes after the photo was deleted, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Hey babe, are you okay? Did you see that picture that got deleted from the group chat?" I played dumb, asked what picture she was talking about. She said it was nothing, not a big deal, just forget about it. Then she said she was tired and needed to go. And then, like a knife twisting in an open wound, she said, "I love you." I couldn't say it back. I just hung up. People were looking at me with these pitying expressions, muttering, "That's messed up," and "Sorry, bro," as I walked out the door. I got the first flight home I could find. The entire flight back, I had to physically stop myself from forgiving her. I knew with absolute certainty that if I saw her face to face, if I gave her a chance to explain, I would take her back. So I made a decision. I would make sure I never had to face her again. I went straight home and changed the locks. I owned the house outright. She had no legal claim to it. I packed every single thing she owned into boxes and mailed it to her mother's house. I was in the middle of drafting a breakup text when one of her friends messaged me with information that made everything make sense in the worst possible way. Apparently, Sam and Shay had dated before I ever met her. They had what they called a toxic cycle, this on-again, off-again relationship that everyone in her friend circle knew about. When Sam introduced me to Shay, it wasn't some generous matchmaking gesture. I was a placeholder, a backup plan for when their dysfunction inevitably fell apart again.
I sent Shay one final message. Told her she no longer lived with me, her belongings were at her mother's house, she could keep the engagement ring, and we were done. I told her to keep the ring because I couldn't bear to look at it. Every memory attached to that ring was poisoned now. She called hundreds of times, sent walls of texts so long they looked like novels. She never got angry, which somehow made it worse. She just apologized over and over, made excuses about being emotional, about her period making her irrational. I ignored all of it. 2 weeks of silence. Then she showed up at my door. I didn't open it, just talked to her through my doorbell camera. She begged me to let her in, to talk about what happened. I refused. She broke down crying, saying Sam wouldn't let her stay with him anymore, that she had nowhere to go. She suggested we just forget the past couple weeks and enjoy the rest of our lives together. Called it a mistake. Something inside me snapped. I told her through that camera everything she'd done to me, that I would never trust anyone again because if she could betray me like this, anyone could. That it wasn't just the past few weeks that were ruined, it was everything. Every cute memory, every inside joke, every moment I'd treasured was now a source of pain. The way she'd scrunch her nose before sneezing, something I used to find adorable, now just hurt to remember. I asked her if she really wanted me to feel this way for the rest of my life. She tried to convince me we could get back to how things were, that over time I could love her again. Maybe that was true, I told her. Maybe I could love her again someday. But I didn't deserve to spend every single day next to the person who shattered my heart, wondering if today would be the day she did it again. I told her if she ever actually cared about me, she would stop trying and just leave. She sat outside my door crying for 30 minutes before finally walking away. Members of her family started calling, apologizing on her behalf. At least she was being honest with them about what she'd done. As for Sam, he never reached out. Not once. He just left all our group chats and disappeared. To this day, I don't understand why he introduced his ex to me just to steal her back years later. Maybe I never will.
Months passed. I was doing okay, or at least that's what I told myself. The urges to call Shay were getting less frequent, less intense. Then my anniversary approached, the anniversary of when I proposed. Shay's mom called to check on me, genuinely concerned. She didn't even mention Shay until I asked. She tried to tell me it didn't matter, that I should focus on myself. But I pressed, and she finally told me Shay had moved back home. She was in therapy. She barely ate, barely left her room, just spiraled in this depression that worried everyone who loved her. Hearing that information hurt me in ways I wasn't prepared for. Part of me, despite everything, just wanted to hold her and tell her it would be okay. I asked her mom to tell Shay I'd call that night, that I had questions. When I called, Shay sounded broken but hopeful. I laid down ground rules. I had questions, I needed honest answers, and if I caught even a hint of a lie, I'd hang up and that would be the end. She agreed. I asked about the beginning of our relationship, why she'd confessed feelings when she did. She admitted she did like me, but only confessed because Sam was moving away. If he was moving on, so was she. She said his departure was one of the best things that happened to her because she got to experience what a real, healthy relationship felt like. I asked about the photo. She said it was meant for a friend from her past with Sam, someone who practiced polyamory and had been telling Shay I was holding her back from experiencing everything life had to offer. But Shay didn't blame her friend. It was her choice to go through with it. I asked what happened that night. She said outside of the kiss, nothing physical happened, but it would have. She'd convinced herself it was okay because it was Sam, someone with history, not just some random guy. When she called to check on me after the photo incident, she could hear the pain in my voice. That's what stopped everything. Sam was upset when she left, threatened to tell me they'd been having an affair the entire time we were together, but she left anyway. That was the last time she saw him.
Then Shay said something that made my chest tighten. She said nothing would make her happier than getting back together, that it took everything in her not to beg for it, but she couldn't trust herself not to hurt me again, that I didn't deserve to be treated the way she'd treated me, that she didn't deserve me, and never would, but she still wanted to spend her life with me and was doing everything she could to prove it. I told her I appreciated the effort, that it was getting late, that we'd talk more later. After I hung up, I sat in silence for a long time. Talking to her, even hearing those painful truths, was the happiest I'd felt in months. I haven't forgiven her. I don't know if I ever will, but for the first time since that photo destroyed my life, I felt something other than pain. I felt possibility. And that terrifies me more than anything. So, that's where I am now, stuck between the anger of what she did and the love that won't seem to die no matter how hard I try to kill it. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been torn between your heart and your head, smash that like button and tell me in the comments what you would do in my situation. Would you give her another chance? Or is betrayal something you can never come back from? Subscribe because I have a feeling this story isn't over yet. Also, check out these other stories. I'm sure you'll love them. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.